Have you ever stopped to really listen to the voice inside your head? That quiet, constant whisper that never leaves you, shaping every thought, every choice, every feeling. Most people never notice it. Most people don't even realize how much power that voice has over their life. It judges, it doubts, it criticizes, and often it does so without mercy. But here's the truth. It doesn't have to control you. That voice, the one that whispers you're not enough, the one that keeps you small, can be trained, redirected, and transformed. You have the ability to change it, to speak to yourself in a way that lifts you, strengthens you, and drives you toward the life you've always wanted. Imagine for a moment if that voice became your greatest ally instead of your harshest enemy. Imagine waking up every day with a mind that encourages you, that reminds you of your worth, that pushes you forward even when fear tries to hold you back. For just 3 days, you can begin that transformation. Your mind is listening to every word you say to yourself, and science proves it. Your inner dialogue rewires your brain. Every word, every phrase you repeat becomes a pattern, a pathway that shapes how you see yourself and how you react to the world. Negative thoughts create fear, hesitation, and doubt. Positive thoughts create courage, resilience, and clarity. Your brain doesn't judge the difference between imagined encouragement and praise from someone else. When you speak kindly to yourself, when you remind yourself of your strength, your effort, and your value, you are literally training your mind to respond differently. You are giving yourself a new operating system, one that is built to support, not sabotage. For the next 3 days, your only task is to notice that inner voice and choose how it speaks. When criticism arises, acknowledge it, then redirect it. Replace self-doubt with affirmation. Replace hesitation with encouragement. This is not a temporary trick. This is the beginning of a shift that can change everything about how you experience life. When you become aware of the voice inside, you gain a choice, and choice is power. Choice is freedom. You have been living on autopilot, letting your mind dictate how you feel, what you try, and what you believe you can achieve. Now, you have the chance to take control. Think about what's waiting on the other side. Imagine how it feels to face challenges with confidence, to rise after setbacks without self-criticism, to embrace opportunities, knowing that your inner voice is cheering you on. Imagine the energy, the focus, the momentum that comes from having your mind aligned with your goals instead of working against them. This is not a dream. This is the reality you can start building in just 3 days. So start now. Pause and listen to the voice inside. Ask yourself what it's saying, and then decide to speak differently. Speak with kindness. Speak with courage. Speak with the knowledge that you are capable, deserving, and strong. These 3 days are not just a practice. They are a promise to yourself. A promise that the person who speaks to you from the inside will become your greatest supporter, your most powerful motivator, and the driving force behind the life you are meant to live. The voice inside is waiting. The choice is yours. Make it the one that changes everything. Every word you speak to yourself carries weight. Your inner dialogue is not just idle chatter. It is the lens through which you see your life. Every thought you allow becomes a seed that grows into action, belief, and habit. Negative words create walls around your potential, trapping you in fear, doubt, and hesitation. Positive words, on the other hand, open doors. They light a fire inside you, awaken your courage, and create pathways for growth you never thought possible. Your mind doesn't distinguish between imagined encouragement and real-life support. When you consistently speak with belief, compassion, and determination, your brain begins to treat these words as truth. This is not mere optimism. It is science. Neuroplasticity shows that repeated thoughts reshape neural pathways, rewiring your brain to think, act, and respond differently. Every affirmation, every word of encouragement is an investment in the life you want. Every negative comment you allow, every phrase that diminishes you, is a cost you cannot afford. Right now, notice the patterns that have held you back. The moments when doubt creeps in, when fear whispers that you are not enough, when hesitation freezes you. These are old scripts you have learned to accept as reality, but they are not reality. They are habits, and habits can be changed. For the next 3 days, your task is simple but profound. Notice those negative scripts and replace them. When your mind says, I can't, answer with, I can learn. When it says, I'm not strong enough, respond, I'm stronger than I realize. When it says, this is impossible, speak, I will find a way. Each replacement is a step forward. Each repetition strengthens new pathways in your brain. Each word shifts your perception of what is possible. This is the power of conscious self-talk. It is not about empty positivity. It is about taking control of the most influential relationship in your life, the one with yourself. Imagine what happens when every thought that arises serves you instead of diminishes you. Your confidence rises, your focus sharpens, your resilience becomes unshakable. Opportunities that once felt intimidating now feel attainable. Your inner world begins to shape your outer world in alignment with your highest potential. This is not abstract. It is measurable, tangible change that begins with language, with choice, with deliberate attention to the words you speak inwardly. For 3 days, give your inner voice a new role. Let it be your coach, your guide, your motivator. Let it remind you of your worth, your courage, and your ability to overcome. Let it focus on solutions instead of problems, on growth instead of fear, on action instead of hesitation. As you speak differently, your perception shifts. You will start noticing things you never noticed before. Strengths, opportunities, progress. Your mind begins to align with your intentions. This alignment is the engine of transformation. It fuels ambition, attracts clarity, and inspires action that once felt impossible. Every word you choose is a declaration. Every affirmation is a seed. Every conscious thought is a step toward becoming the person you always meant to be. 3 days is all it takes to begin this transformation. Your inner voice can either be the barrier that keeps you trapped or the force that propels you forward. Choose wisely. Speak deliberately. Own the words you say. The life you imagine is waiting for the voice that believes it can be achieved. Let that voice rise. Let it guide you. Let it transform everything. Your inner critic has been speaking to you for years, shaping your fears, limiting your choices, and questioning your worth. It has convinced you that mistakes define you, that failure is permanent, that you are not enough. But that voice is not truth. It is habit, repetition, fear disguised as guidance. And the remarkable thing is, it has no real power unless you give it your attention. Every time you let it dominate your thoughts, you reinforce its authority. Every time you pause, notice it, and choose a different response, you weaken its grip. For 3 days, commit to silencing the inner critic, not by ignoring it, but by confronting it with deliberate, empowering self-talk. Acknowledge its presence, recognize its patterns, and then replace its words with truth, words that affirm your capability, your resilience, your growth. This is not easy because the critic is persistent. It thrives on repetition. It knows your vulnerabilities and whispers them at the worst moments, but you are stronger than the habits it has built. Your brain is capable of forming new pathways, creating a new pattern of thought that supports rather than sabotages you. Each time you consciously speak with encouragement, each time you remind yourself of your worth, each time you redirect doubt into determination, you are training your mind to serve you, not limit you. Neuroscience proves that repeated positive self-talk strengthens the areas of the brain responsible for motivation, focus, and emotional resilience. You are literally restructuring the architecture of your own mind, moment by moment, word by word. Picture the difference this makes. When fear or hesitation arises, your inner voice doesn't amplify it. Instead, it guides you through it. When mistakes happen, your mind doesn't dwell in shame. It observes, learns, and moves forward with confidence. You no longer feel trapped by doubt or weakened by criticism. Every thought becomes a tool, every word a step toward action. This is how transformation begins. From the inside through consistent, deliberate attention to your self-talk. 3 days is enough to start this shift. Enough to prove to yourself that your inner critic does not define you. You define you. Each moment of conscious redirection is a victory. Each word of encouragement is a reinforcement of your potential. The more you practice, the faster your mind adapts. Soon, old patterns that once dominated will weaken, and the voice of support, courage, and self-belief will grow stronger. You will notice subtle changes, clarity in decision-making, steadiness in moments of stress, and a newfound confidence that radiates into every part of your life. This is not wishful thinking. This is your brain responding to new input, learning a new way to operate, and proving that you are capable of change. Do not underestimate the power of these 3 days. They are the start of reclaiming your mind, your energy, and your life. Every time you confront a negative thought, replace it with affirmation. Every time you encounter doubt, respond with belief. Every time fear rises, answer with courage. Your inner voice can become your greatest ally, your most powerful motivator, and the force that drives you toward the life you are meant to live. The critic may try to return, but each conscious choice to speak differently chips away at its power. Speak firmly, speak kindly, speak relentlessly. You are not only resisting the critic, you are rewriting the script of your mind, and with it, the story of your life. Courage begins in the quietest corners of your mind. It is not a roar, a grand gesture, or an external display. It is a word you speak to yourself when fear whispers that you are not ready. It is the steady choice to move forward even when doubt clouds your vision. For 3 days, practice this courage internally. Let your inner voice become a source of boldness, a reminder that you are capable of more than you believe. Each time hesitation rises, speak to yourself, I can face this. I am ready. I will act. These words may feel small at first, almost insignificant, but repetition transforms them into conviction. Neuroscience shows that verbal affirmations of courage strengthen neural pathways linked to motivation and resilience. Your brain begins to anticipate action instead of retreat, strength instead of doubt, possibility instead of fear. Every moment you choose courage in thought, you expand your capacity to act in reality. Courage does not require perfection. It does not demand that you feel fearless or invincible. It requires that you acknowledge the fear, then move despite it. When you internalize this practice, hesitation loses its grip. Opportunities that once felt intimidating become doors waiting to be opened. Challenges that once paralyzed you now become tests of your growing strength. Your inner dialogue shapes this experience. By consciously choosing words of bravery, you train your mind to see obstacles as stepping stones instead of barriers. Every thought of fear can be met with a word of courage. Every doubt can be replaced with determination. The mind is not passive. It responds to the language you give it, aligning your perception, emotions, and actions with the reality you reinforce internally. Think about the difference this makes in your daily life. When a difficult task appears, your first thought is no longer, I can't handle this. Instead, your mind immediately recalls the words of courage you have practiced. I am capable. I will try. I will grow. That shift may seem subtle, almost invisible, but it changes everything. It determines how you act, how long you persist, and how fully you embrace your potential. Each courageous thought builds momentum. Each repetition strengthens a mindset that does not shrink from challenge. In 3 days, this internal training creates a foundation of confidence and action that carries far beyond a brief experiment. Your courage grows silently, steadily from within. It does not depend on validation from others, on perfect circumstances, or on external safety nets. It is cultivated in the private space of your mind, where your voice speaks truth, support, and determination. The more consistently you practice, the more automatic it becomes. Soon, courage will rise without conscious effort. You will notice it in how you respond to setbacks, how you approach opportunities, and how you confront your own limits. Your inner voice will be a constant ally, reminding you that fear is a signal, not a sentence, and that every action, no matter how small, reinforces your strength. Speak these words to yourself now and keep speaking them every day. I am capable. I am strong. I am ready. Let them anchor you, guide you, and push you forward. Courage is not born in perfection. It is built through repetition, commitment, and conscious choice. For 3 days, let your inner voice practice this courage relentlessly. Every word you say strengthens the path toward the person you are becoming. Every act of bravery, no matter how small, confirms your power. Your mind is listening. Your life is waiting. Speak courage. Live courage. Become courage. You are more valuable than you have been led to believe. Not because of what you achieve, not because of the approval you receive, not because of the roles you play in other people's lives, but because your existence itself holds meaning. For too long, your worth has been measured against external standards, fleeting accomplishments, and comparisons that drain instead of elevate. But true worth is inherent. It does not fluctuate with success or failure. It is constant, unshakable, and undeniable. For the next 3 days, your task is to affirm this truth to yourself. Speak it with intention, repeat it with belief, and feel it in the core of your being. I am valuable. I am deserving. I am enough. These words are not empty. They are anchors, grounding your mind in reality rather than fear, in truth rather than judgment. Every time you repeat them, your brain strengthens neural pathways that recognize and embody this truth. Affirming your worth is not about arrogance or entitlement. It is about recognition and alignment with reality. It is the foundation for confidence, resilience, and authentic action. When your inner voice consistently reinforces your value, everything else begins to shift. Tasks that once felt overwhelming become opportunities to grow. Criticism no longer defines you, it merely informs you. Fear loses its power because your mind is anchored in certainty of self. Science confirms that repeated affirmations activate the brain's reward centers, increasing dopamine and creating a sense of stability and motivation. Your mind begins to expect respect, kindness, and possibility from itself, which naturally carries over into your interactions and choices. For 3 days, notice how often your inner dialogue diminishes your worth without your conscious permission. Catch the whispers of doubt, the comparisons, the guilt, and immediately replace them with affirmation. Let each statement of self-worth be firm and deliberate. Say, I am enough as I am. Say, I deserve good things. Say, I honor myself in every thought, word, and action. Let the words resonate in your body, in your posture, and in your energy. Every repetition reinforces the truth until it becomes automatic, until your mind instinctively aligns with a belief in your value. Imagine how different life feels when you operate from this foundation. Confidence is no longer borrowed from others. It is innate. Decisions are guided by clarity, not fear of judgment. Challenges are met with determination instead of hesitation. Your mind, once a battleground of doubt and criticism, becomes a sanctuary of support and empowerment. This is the result of consistent, deliberate self-talk rooted in worth. It transforms not just thoughts, but behaviors, relationships, and opportunities. Your worth is the soil in which every other quality grows: courage, resilience, focus, and creativity. Neglect it, and those qualities struggle to take root. Nurture it, and they flourish naturally. For these 3 days, commit to speaking this truth relentlessly. Repeat it in quiet moments, in times of stress, in moments of doubt. Let it become the rhythm of your inner life. You are not asking for permission to be enough. You are claiming it. You are affirming it. You are embodying it. Every word strengthens the foundation upon which your entire life can grow. Speak it, believe it, live it. You are worthy always. Your mind is a canvas, and every thought you speak to yourself is a brushstroke shaping the picture of who you are becoming. For too long, that canvas has been dominated by old patterns, negative habits, and limiting beliefs. But you have the power to repaint it, to craft the image of the person you want to be. Visualization is not fantasy. It is a tool the brain responds to as if it were reality. When you vividly imagine yourself acting with confidence, moving with purpose, and thinking with clarity, your mind begins to align your behaviors, choices, and energy with that vision. For 3 days, let your inner voice speak not only words of courage, worth, and affirmation, but also guide your imagination to see your best self. See yourself achieving, overcoming, growing, and thriving. Let every mental image be precise, detailed, and alive. When you visualize who you want to become, you provide your mind with a reference point. Every challenge, every decision, and every action can then be measured against that image. Your inner voice acts as a compass, gently correcting misalignment and reinforcing alignment. Neuroscience shows that mental rehearsal activates the same neural pathways as physical action. Imagining success primes your brain to respond as if you were already there. This is how elite athletes, innovators, and leaders achieve extraordinary results. They see it first, then they act it out. For 3 days, give yourself permission to see yourself clearly, without doubt or hesitation. Speak to yourself as if that version of you is already real. I am focused. I am disciplined. I act with clarity and confidence. Let the voice reinforce the vision until the mind accepts it as truth. Visualization does more than increase confidence. It rewires perception. You begin to notice opportunities that once went unseen, solutions that were hidden behind fear, and strengths that were dormant, waiting for recognition. Your inner voice constantly interprets these observations, guiding you to act in alignment with the self you are imagining. Doubt loses its grip because your mind has a model to follow. hesitation fades because your inner voice continually reinforces the possibility, the capability, and the potential within you. 3 days of deliberate visualization combined with empowering self-talk sets a pattern that transcends fleeting motivation. It builds a lasting framework for transformation. Every time your inner voice reminds you of the person you are becoming, it strengthens the connection between your vision and your reality. Speak to yourself with authority and conviction. I'm becoming disciplined. I'm becoming courageous. I'm becoming unstoppable. The repetition of these words combined with clear mental imagery trains your brain to anticipate action, resilience, and growth. It aligns your thoughts with your highest potential and primes your body to respond accordingly. Over time, the visualization becomes automatic. You begin to act, move, and speak as the person you have imagined. Fear, hesitation, and self-doubt no longer dominate because your inner voice continuously reinforces what is possible. 3 days of this focused practice is enough to ignite change. The combination of visualization and conscious self-talk creates a powerful momentum that carries forward long after the exercise ends. Your mind starts to operate with clarity, purpose, and alignment. Your inner voice becomes a guide reminding you of your potential, your worth, and your ability to grow. Every thought you speak, every image you hold, builds a life in which you are empowered, intentional, and unstoppable. See yourself clearly, speak yourself into existence, and watch as the world begins to respond to the confident, capable, and powerful version of you. Setbacks are not failures. They are signals, lessons, and opportunities disguised in discomfort. Every time something does not go according to plan, your mind reacts first. If your inner voice is negative, you feel defeated, limited, and powerless. If your inner voice is trained to reframe challenges, you feel curiosity, determination, and growth. For 3 days, commit to speaking to yourself in a way that transforms obstacles into teachers. When a mistake happens, when progress stalls, when circumstances challenge you, say to yourself, "This is a lesson. I am learning. I will grow from this." These words are not consolation, they are tools. They redirect your mind from judgment to strategy, from despair to action, from limitation to potential. Your brain does not distinguish between perceived and actual threats in the same way it distinguishes between negative and positive self-talk. When you approach setbacks with harsh criticism, stress hormones rise, focus diminishes, and motivation collapses. When you approach setbacks with reframing and encouragement, stress decreases, clarity increases, and resilience grows. This is how small shifts in language produce massive changes in experience. By speaking differently to yourself, by consciously choosing to see challenges as lessons, you are literally reshaping your response to life. Every mental reframe strengthens the pathways that support perseverance, problem solving, and adaptability. Notice how often you have allowed a minor setback to define you. A harsh word, a failed attempt, or a moment of fear has too often determined your next steps. That is not who you are. That is habit speaking, reinforced by repetition. For 3 days, break that habit. Catch yourself in the moment of self-blame or frustration and redirect your inner dialogue. Replace "I failed" with "I am learning." Replace "I can't do this" with "I will find a way." Replace "This is too hard" with "This challenge makes me stronger." These small interventions feel simple, even subtle, but their impact compounds exponentially. Your brain begins to anticipate growth, not defeat. Your focus shifts from what went wrong to what is possible. Your energy transforms from stagnation to momentum. Every challenge, every obstacle, every difficulty becomes a classroom when your inner voice speaks with wisdom and support. Your mind stops resisting the discomfort and starts extracting value from it. You begin to see patterns, strategies, and strengths that were invisible when fear or frustration dominated. Each time you respond to setbacks with reframed language, your resilience grows. Each time you choose learning over blame, your confidence strengthens. Each time you internalize growth over judgment, your future becomes clearer and more attainable. 3 days of practicing this shift is enough to ignite a profound change in your perception. You will notice that difficulties no longer paralyze you, that failure no longer defines you, and that challenges become invitations to rise higher. Your inner voice becomes a guide through adversity, a source of clarity, and a foundation of unwavering support. Speak with intention. "I learn from every challenge." I grow stronger with every setback. I am capable of overcoming anything. Let these words anchor your mind, reinforce your courage, and transform every obstacle into fuel for progress. You are not limited by your setbacks. You are defined by how you speak to yourself in their presence. Gratitude is more than a feeling. It is a force that reshapes your mind, your energy, and the way you experience life. When you focus on what you have instead of what is missing, your inner voice shifts from scarcity to abundance, from fear to possibility, from limitation to opportunity. For 3 days, speak to yourself with intentional gratitude. Say, I am grateful for my strength. I am grateful for my resilience. I am grateful for this moment. Let your mind absorb the truth of these words. Neuroscience shows that gratitude activates the brain's reward system, increasing dopamine and serotonin, creating a sense of safety, motivation, and clarity. This is not wishful thinking. It is a neurological shift that rewires your perception of life. Each moment of acknowledgement deepens your awareness of what is working, what is growing, and what is possible. Notice how often your mind drifts to what is lacking, opportunities missed, mistakes made, or things outside your control dominate attention. That habit fuels stress, doubt, and negativity. For 3 days, intercept that pattern. Speak gratitude to yourself deliberately. In moments of struggle, let your inner voice remind you of what is going right. In moments of doubt, let it highlight the resources, strengths, and abilities you already possess. Each acknowledgement strengthens your resilience. Each repetition trains your mind to see life not as a series of threats, but as a landscape rich with opportunity, learning, and growth. Your inner voice becomes a lens of abundance rather than limitation. Gratitude does not deny challenges or pain. It reframes your focus. Even in difficulty, there are lessons, strengths, and small victories waiting to be recognized. Your mind thrives on this recognition. It organizes perception, energy, and motivation around what you value, what you can leverage, and what you can control. By speaking gratitude aloud to yourself, you direct your attention to possibilities instead of problems, to empowerment instead of despair. This simple, consistent practice shifts not only your mindset, but your entire approach to action. You will notice your energy becoming lighter, your focus sharper, and your determination stronger. Every time you verbalize gratitude, your inner voice builds trust with you. It reminds you that you are capable, that life contains abundance, and that progress is always present, even if hidden. Say, I am grateful for my persistence. I am grateful for my courage. I am grateful for each step forward. These words are anchors in your mind, rooting you in a perspective that fuels action and possibility. The more consistently you practice, the faster your brain adapts, and the more automatic gratitude becomes. You begin to notice positivity, strength, and potential without forcing it. Your inner voice naturally guides you toward opportunity and growth. 3 days of deliberate gratitude rewires your inner dialogue, creating a foundation of positivity that permeates every aspect of life. Challenges lose their paralyzing grip. Fear loses its ability to dominate. Self-doubt fades in the presence of recognition, acknowledgement, and appreciation. Your mind becomes a field where strength, clarity, and possibility grow effortlessly. Speak with intention. I am grateful for who I am. I am grateful for what I can do. I'm grateful for the progress I make every day. Let these words resonate, anchor your perception, and transform your inner voice into a relentless source of encouragement, insight, and empowerment. Gratitude is not a habit. It is a weapon, a tool, and a force that shapes your reality from the inside out. Your inner voice is your most loyal coach, yet most people neglect it, leaving it weak, distracted, or negative. For 3 days, take control and speak to yourself with encouragement, as a coach would speak to their champion. You've got this. You are stronger than you think. Keep going. These words are not empty affirmations. They are catalysts for change. Research shows that self-directed encouragement increases motivation, persistence, and performance. Your brain responds to these statements as if someone else were supporting you, activating reward centers and preparing you to take action. When your inner voice becomes a source of encouragement, it transforms every hesitation into momentum, every doubt into determination, and every fear into a challenge you are equipped to overcome. Notice how often your thoughts criticize, judge, or focus on what you cannot do. That is the old pattern speaking. The voice trained by years of fear and limitation. For 3 days, interrupt that pattern. Replace it with deliberate, empowering encouragement. Let your inner dialogue say, I can't handle this. I will learn. I am capable of growth. These words change more than your perception. They change your biology. Cortisol decreases, focus improves, and your brain primes itself for achievement. Every time you speak with encouragement, you reinforce pathways that support resilience, energy, and forward movement. Over time, these pathways become automatic, creating an inner ally that drives you toward your goals effortlessly. Encouragement works because it shifts your relationship with yourself. When your inner voice believes in your capability, your mind stops resisting effort and begins to embrace action. Tasks that once felt heavy feel manageable. Challenges that once paralyzed you become invitations to rise. Your energy aligns with purpose. Your focus sharpens. Motivation, once fleeting, becomes sustainable because it is fueled by a voice that consistently reinforces your power, not your limitation. For 3 days, let every thought of self-doubt be countered with words of support, strength, and reassurance. Each repetition strengthens the mind's ability to prioritize growth over fear. Think about the subtle but profound effects this creates. Confidence is no longer borrowed from praise or external validation. It is anchored in the relationship you have with yourself. Decisions are no longer stalled by fear. They are guided by clarity and belief. Your inner voice acts as a constant motivator, reminding you of your potential, capabilities, and resilience. The more consistently you practice, the more effortless encouragement becomes. It becomes a natural rhythm in your thinking. A voice that speaks before doubt has a chance to rise. Your mind shifts from a critic to a coach, from hesitation to action, from fear to courage. 3 days of deliberate encouragement is enough to ignite a shift you will feel immediately. Your inner voice becomes a source of energy, clarity, and alignment. Speak deliberately, I am capable. I am growing. I will succeed. Let your mind absorb these words. Let them guide your actions, and let them become the foundation of your transformation. The inner voice that once criticized now champions you. Every word you speak builds momentum, reinforces possibility, and strengthens the path toward your highest potential. This is more than motivation. It is the creation of a mind that consistently propels you toward success, resilience, and unwavering belief in yourself. Your goals are not abstract ideas. They are blueprints for the life you are capable of creating. The words you speak to yourself about them are the bridge between imagination and reality. For 3 days, commit to verbalizing your goals with clarity, conviction, and belief. Say, I am capable of achieving this. I am committed to my vision. I will make progress today. Your inner voice is listening, and your brain responds as if these intentions are already in motion. Neuroscience confirms that verbalizing goals strengthens commitment, primes motivation, and increases the likelihood of consistent action. Each statement you speak aligns thought, emotion, and behavior toward the life you want, reinforcing neural pathways that support focus, discipline, and achievement. Notice how often your mind allows goals to drift into uncertainty, procrastination, or fear. That is habit, reinforced by years of inaction and doubt. For 3 days, intercept that pattern. Speak your goals aloud internally with precision and intention. Visualize the steps, the effort, and the momentum required. When obstacles appear, remind yourself, I can adapt, I can learn, I can overcome. Every time your inner voice reinforces commitment, your brain primes your body for action, your focus sharpens, and your determination strengthens. You are literally training yourself to move from thought to execution, from possibility to reality. This practice does more than clarify intention. It transforms your perception of what is achievable. When your inner voice consistently reminds you of your purpose, your mind begins to filter opportunities, recognize solutions, and act decisively. Fear and hesitation lose their grip because your inner voice is louder, clearer, and more powerful than doubt. Motivation becomes sustainable because it is rooted in repeated verbal reinforcement. Your goals are no longer distant or abstract. They are present, real, and actionable. Every time you repeat them, you anchor your energy and attention on progress rather than distraction, on action rather than hesitation, on growth rather than fear. Think about the power of consistent verbal focus on your goals. Your inner voice begins to operate as a guiding force, aligning choices, behaviors, and energy with your vision. Decisions become easier because they are measured against the standards you have set for yourself. Challenges become manageable because your mind anticipates solutions instead of dwelling on problems. Every affirmation of commitment strengthens neural pathways that support persistence, discipline, and clarity. Within 3 days, you will notice a shift, a heightened awareness of what matters, a sharper sense of direction, and a growing confidence in your ability to achieve. Every word you speak toward your goals is a signal to your brain, a reinforcement of possibility, and a spark for action. Speak deliberately. I am capable. I am committed. I will achieve my vision. Let these statements anchor your focus, energize your mind, and guide your behavior. Your inner voice is not passive. It is the engine driving your transformation. Use it to speak with authority, clarity, and belief. With consistent repetition, your goals cease to exist only in thought. They begin to manifest in action, momentum, and measurable progress. This is more than motivation. It is the deliberate creation of a mind aligned with purpose, capable of achieving everything it envisions. Limits exist mostly in the mind. They are the walls we build from fear, doubt, and habit, reinforced by years of listening to voices that tell us we are not enough. But those walls are not real. They are constructs, and every word you speak to yourself can dismantle them. For 3 days, challenge your perceived limits with deliberate, empowering self-talk. When your mind says, I can't, respond with, I'm capable of more than I imagine. When hesitation whispers, say, I will push forward. I will grow stronger. Every statement of defiance against doubt rewires your brain to anticipate action, not retreat. Possibility, not limitation. Each word you speak builds resilience, expands capacity, and stretches what you believe is achievable. Your brain is a responsive, adaptive organ. Every time you confront a limit with courage and affirmation, neural pathways strengthen, allowing you to operate beyond what once felt possible. Small victories compound over time. Every time you choose to speak differently, every time you insist on action instead of surrender, your inner voice reinforces a new reality, that you are capable, resourceful, and resilient. Perceived limits lose their power when consistently met with intentional, affirming language. Your inner dialogue is the lever that moves the weight of doubt. Use it to lift yourself higher than you ever thought possible. Notice how often old patterns convince you that effort is futile, that fear is a signal to stop, or that challenges are insurmountable. Those thoughts are not facts. They are habits of thinking, reinforced by repetition. For 3 days, interrupt these patterns. Replace every I can't with, I am learning, I am capable, I will find a way. Replace every it's too hard with, this challenge strengthens me, I rise to meet it. Each conscious intervention strengthens your perception of self-efficacy, your belief in your ability to act, adapt, and achieve. Over time, this repetition reprograms your mind to anticipate growth rather than retreat, to expect success rather than limitation, and to recognize opportunity even when fear appears. Challenging your limits does not require perfection or immediate mastery. It requires consistent engagement, deliberate speech, and unwavering attention to the words you allow yourself to believe. Each moment of self-encouragement, each affirmation of capability, chips away at the mental barriers that have held you back. Your inner voice, when trained, becomes a source of power, guidance, and insight, constantly reminding you that you are larger, stronger, and more capable than fear or doubt suggest. Your mind begins to anticipate action, focus, and strength naturally, without struggle, because repetition creates expectation. For 3 days, commit to speaking to yourself in a way that expands your sense of possibility. Confront fear with words of courage. Confront doubt with statements of ability. Confront limitation with reminders of strength. Say aloud in your mind and in your thoughts, I am capable of growth. I'm stronger than I know. I will rise above every limit. Let this language anchor your perception, align your energy, and guide your behavior. Your inner voice is not a passive observer. It is the engine of transformation. Each word you speak challenges the boundaries of what you believe is possible, building momentum that propels you beyond fear, beyond hesitation, and into the realm of true potential. Focus is not something you find, it is something you create. Your inner voice is the architect of attention, the director of energy, and the conductor of effort. For 3 days, practice speaking to yourself in ways that sharpen focus and eliminate distraction. Say, I am fully present. I am clear. I direct my energy to what matters. Each word trains your brain to filter noise, resist temptation, and prioritize action. Neuroscience confirms that deliberate verbal cues strengthen cognitive control, enhance working memory, and improve the ability to sustain attention on meaningful tasks. Your inner voice is not just commentary. It is the tool that shapes your capacity to act with precision, clarity, and purpose. Notice how often your mind drifts. Thoughts wander to fear, regret, or what ifs. Energy disperses, momentum fades, and opportunities slip through your awareness. That is habit reinforced by years of unchecked distraction. For 3 days, intercept these patterns. Every time your focus wavers, speak to yourself with intention. I return to what matters. I direct my energy. I am present and engaged. These statements are not passive reminders. They are active interventions, reshaping your brain's attention networks, reinforcing pathways that prioritize concentration and deliberate action. Each repetition strengthens your ability to maintain mental clarity under pressure, turning distraction into discipline. Focus grows when the mind is anchored by purpose and direction. Your inner voice provides that anchor by consistently reinforcing what is important. By verbally guiding yourself back to intention, your brain begins to automate attention, reducing mental friction and boosting efficiency. Tasks once overwhelming become manageable. Decisions that once felt confusing become clear. Energy, once scattered, channels naturally toward growth, action, and progress. Your inner dialogue becomes the engine of precision, constantly aligning thought, emotion, and behavior with your highest priorities. Every word of focus you speak creates momentum. Say, I am committed to this moment. I act with clarity. I achieve what I intend. Let these words sink into your mind, shaping perception, influencing decisions, and guiding behavior. Attention is a muscle, and like any muscle, it grows stronger with deliberate use. By speaking with intention, you reinforce the neural circuits that control attention, resist distraction, and sustain effort. Within 3 days, you will notice sharper clarity, quicker decision-making, and an inner voice that consistently returns your mind to what matters most. Focus is the bridge between intention and achievement. Without it, your goals, courage, and growth remain scattered and incomplete. With it, every step forward is meaningful, every effort compounds, and every action moves you closer to your highest potential. Commit to speaking in ways that reinforce focus, presence, and clarity. Let your inner voice be firm, deliberate, and precise. I am present. I am clear. I act with purpose. This language shapes your brain, your energy, and your reality. Every word of focus strengthens the bridge between who you are today and the person you are becoming. Your inner voice is your compass. Speak clearly, focus deliberately, move powerfully. Discipline is not punishment, it is freedom. It is the structure that allows your mind and body to perform at their highest level. Your inner voice is the architect of discipline, the silent authority that determines whether you act or hesitate, whether you persist or quit. For 3 days, speak to yourself in ways that reinforce self-control, consistency, and commitment. Say, I follow through. I honor my commitments. I act with purpose. Each repetition trains your brain to prioritize action over resistance, effort over procrastination, and long-term growth over short-term comfort. Neuroscience shows that deliberate self-talk strengthens the prefrontal cortex, the area responsible for planning, impulse control, and sustained effort. Your inner voice becomes the engine that transforms intention into consistent, meaningful action. Notice how often your mind seeks the easy path, the comfort zone, the escape from effort. That is habit, reinforced by years of yielding to immediate gratification. For 3 days, interrupt that pattern. Each time your mind drifts toward avoidance, speak deliberately. I commit to this. I follow through. I grow stronger with effort. These words are more than encouragement. They are instructions to your brain, signaling focus, persistence, and control. Every repetition strengthens the neural pathways that support discipline, making consistent action not a struggle, but a natural response. Discipline grows when your inner voice becomes an ally rather than a critic. When you speak with authority, clarity, and purpose, your mind aligns with your intentions. Tasks that once felt heavy or tedious begin to feel purposeful. Challenges that once tempted procrastination now evoke determination. Energy, once scattered, becomes concentrated on meaningful action. Your inner voice no longer negotiates with doubt or distraction. It guides you with precision, reinforcing habits that compound into results. Every word you speak to yourself about commitment strengthens your capacity to achieve what you envision. Think about the impact this has on your life. When your inner voice consistently reinforces discipline, you move through resistance effortlessly. Motivation becomes reliable because it is anchored in repeated verbal reinforcement. Decisions are easier because your mind is primed to act rather than debate. Progress accelerates because your energy is directed toward consistent execution. Speak with intention. I honor my commitments. I act with purpose. I persist until I succeed. Let these words shape your mind, focus your energy, and guide your behavior. Discipline becomes the natural outcome of repeated intentional self-talk. 3 days of speaking with deliberate focus on discipline can ignite profound change. Your inner voice begins to operate as a coach, guide, and authority that consistently aligns thought, emotion, and action. Every word of commitment strengthens habits, fortifies willpower, and reinforces the belief that effort is the path to freedom, not restriction. Let your mind absorb this. I act with purpose. I follow through. I'm consistent. Your inner voice is not passive. It is the architect of your daily behavior, the force that converts desire into action, and the foundation upon which your life is built. Speak deliberately, act consistently, and watch as discipline transforms every area of your life, turning intention into measurable achievement and potential into reality. Your energy is a reflection of your thoughts. Every word you speak to yourself shapes not only your mindset, but also your vitality, motivation, and drive. For 3 days, speak in ways that amplify energy, excitement, and purpose. Say, I am energized, I am powerful, I am ready to act. These are not empty statements. They prime your nervous system, increase alertness, and ignite motivation. Neuroscience shows that verbal affirmations impact brain chemistry, enhancing dopamine and norepinephrine, chemicals that fuel focus, drive, and resilience. Your inner voice is more than commentary. It is the source of energy that powers every decision, every action, and every step toward your goals. Notice how often low energy, fatigue, or mental fog is reinforced by words of doubt or self-criticism. Thoughts like, I can't do this, I'm too tired, or it's too much do more than create temporary discomfort. They program your body and mind to surrender. For 3 days, intercept these patterns with intentional speech. I am capable. I am alert. I am prepared to move forward. Each repetition retrains your brain and body, signaling readiness instead of resignation, action instead of stagnation, and strength instead of depletion. Your energy is not a fixed resource. It is cultivated through the words you speak, the focus you maintain, and the mindset you choose to reinforce. Energy grows when your inner voice supports rather than diminishes you. When you speak with affirmation and encouragement, your mind interprets this as a signal to activate rather than retreat. Tasks that once felt heavy feel lighter. Challenges that once drained you now ignite determination, and effort becomes fluid instead of forced. Your inner voice acts as a generator, converting thoughts into physical and mental vitality. Each word you choose amplifies focus, endurance, and the capacity to sustain momentum. The more consistently you practice, the more natural this energy becomes. It no longer depends on circumstance, external validation, or fleeting motivation. It originates within you, powered by deliberate thought. Imagine how life shifts when your inner voice consistently fuels energy instead of sapping it. You approach tasks with intensity, tackle challenges with vigor, and sustain progress even under pressure. Motivation becomes automatic because your brain is conditioned to respond to verbal reinforcement with alertness and readiness. Say aloud, I am energized. I am ready. I act with power. Let these words guide your body, mind, and attention, creating alignment between what you feel, what you think, and what you do. Your inner voice becomes a constant source of vitality, propelling you forward without hesitation or compromise. 3 days of cultivating energy through deliberate self-talk creates a foundation for sustained action. Your inner voice transforms from passive commentary into an active source of power, strength, and clarity. Every word you speak reinforces the rhythm of vitality, focus, and momentum. Speak deliberately, energize intentionally, and watch as your body, mind, and actions align. Your inner voice is the spark that ignites movement, the engine that sustains progress, and the force that transforms potential into tangible results. Let it guide you with power, clarity, and unstoppable energy.